Hi, I'm Kim, and I'm one of the behavior and diet consultants here at BirdTricks, and I'm here in Nevada on one of our free flight trips with the other freestyle flyers. I brought my Camelot macaw Halo, my blue-throated macaw Twitch, my red-fronted macaw Ricochet, also known as Rico, and my galah Breezy. So when I come on the free flight trips, I have a toy hauler that I've set up for my birds. So I have a bird room set up with cages ready to go, separate from the living space so that they can get a good night's sleep when we're here. My husband brings out my RV, drops it off, and flies home, and then I roll in with my Jeep filled with my birds. So the people on this trip that I probably hang out with the most is Lori. She actually usually stops at my place in Phoenix and overnights with her camper on the way from Texas. And so we caravanned out here and we're both staying at the RV park together. And then I hang out a lot with Claude and Sheila and Lauren. So I wouldn't say that any of my birds are like big on flocking with other birds. They're kind of independent flyers, but Rico and Ava have been flying together a couple times on this trip. Halo seems to get encouraged around the green wings a little bit. Breezy's just kind of on her own. And Twitch, he'll go out with the blue throats and flock a little bit, but he tends to kind of stick to himself as well. So my favorite thing about flight trips is definitely watching the development of my own birds, but also seeing the new flyers graduating with theirs and seeing the emotions of that and the progress during that journey for them. So this particular location, I love being up on top of the dunes flying my birds, and I absolutely freaking hate getting up there.
That's fair.
Yeah. So the BirdTricks community is special because I think everybody is rooting for everybody all the time. Like everybody's got each other's backs. You just see people constantly willing to help if you need help, eyes on, like whatever it is that's happening. And then it's just other bird people. So they get you and you feel like you're, part of something that makes sense to them. So it makes you feel included. So for me to pick one bird out of my flock that I've enjoyed this trip, that's tough because they've all had things that have happened that I celebrate. Like Halo has been struggling for a while and he's made some progress on this trip, but Twitch I probably feel the most like at peace watching fly because he just glides, and I just never stress watching him. I just feel like the world just kind of falls away, if that makes sense. And he's super, super reliable, so I'm super proud of him. My favorite bird outside of my flock this trip has got to be the other galah that's here on the trip with Kat. She's hysterical. Listening to her fly is probably the best part of it. And then just the chaos of her flights are hilarious, just absolutely hilarious. And Kat's so good at catching her.
Get out! Woo! Woo! Oh! And down again! And up again! And down again! Way to go, kiddo! And up again! You wanna go again? Pew pew! Pew pew!
Oh my goodness.
Okay, right by you.
Way to go! So did you say go?
She sounds like a video game. Pew pew pew.
Come on, kiddo.
Oh.
Okay.
So I think it's important to have a mentor when you're learning free flight with your first bird, especially because YouTube and Instagram and social media just makes this look so easy and so cookie cutter, and that's the last thing that it is. Every single bird is different, every single journey is different, and there's different challenges, and there's a lot of risk when it comes to free flight, and a mentor is going to help you mitigate those risks and figure out a way to go at free flight safely to where you can really enjoy it and the bird can do what it's meant to do. So one of the cool things about being a BirdTricks consultant is I get a chance to meet people before they ever enter our program. And a lot of times I'm working with them with a completely different bird that they end up taking through free flight and get to know them through just behavioral and diet consults. And then they start talking about free flight. And I'm also the free flight coordinator here, so then I jump into another role with them and get them started up with Dave. And I've even been able to hang out on some of those consults with Dave and watch up close the journey that they take, and then come on the trips and be able to be here to support them in the field, to make sure that that permission-based training is in place and that the crate training and the GPS placement and everything is done in a way that helps support their relationship with their bird, so that when it's time to go on to flight, all of that comes together as one package. My advice to someone who wants to get into free flight is to make sure that your diet and your handling and your understanding of permission-based training is in place, that you have those foundations there so that you can move on to the fun stuff. But you can't get to that fun stuff, and the fun stuff's not going to stay fun without those foundations in place. So that would be my best advice. I use both GPS and telemetry in my flock. Halo wears GPS and so does Twitch. And then Rico, the GPS was a little heavy for him, so I switched over telemetry for him, and that's worked out beautifully. He carries it a lot better. This trip, I actually had to take Twitch and move him over to telemetry because his GPS mount was right next to a blood feather. And so I was able to put a little telemetry mount off to the side and put that on there, and I can still track him. So I like the versatility of being able to go back and forth between GPS and telemetry when needed. I think one of the things that's really important when you're using GPS and telemetry is to make sure that you approach that as well in permission-based training. And it can be a way for you to communicate with your bird of whether they're ready to fly, they're a willing participant in the flight, asking for them to give you their tail, and being able to slip that on. All of my birds that wear telemetry or GPS will come out onto the perch and let me just put it in without any fuss or muss. Jin Ling, who is our newest graduate on this trip with her Hyacinth Steven and her African Gray Smoky, I actually started consulting with her a couple years ago before she got Steven. She wanted to do a consult with me and talk about Halo because she fell in love with Halo during the baby bird course. And she wanted my opinion on how he was with free flight, and she was also thinking about a Hyacinth, and she already owned Smokey, so we also did some consulting with some stuff with Smokey's diet and training. And then I got the news and got an email that she had went ahead and decided to go the route of Hyacinth, and she was ready to get into the course. Her and I went back to diet consulting to prep her for the course, and then now we're here and she's graduating. It's been awesome to watch her progress through all of this. It's really cool. And her husband are just really fun people.
Aww.
Sheila is a frickin' traitor for getting a Toyota and giving up her Jeep.